Introduction. Since I can remember, I always had dreams. If things could be the way I wanted, I wouldn't have expressed myself. There wouldn't be a need for listening to my problems. The only problem I would have is the old quote they used for us, "Are they sitting next to us?" Even then, it never bothered me that we are different. But what did bother me is that to them, we are different. You say the wrong thing around the wrong person, and all hell will break loose. Being caught up is not for everyone. You hope you can plan, you can anticipate, bet on your odds, and give it your best. Sometimes you are dealt a hand that you can be proud of, and sometimes you are dealt a hand that the competition just takes advantage of. To know that you are safe, you know that you are good, means everything. Actually, everyone should practice the fact, but we all know how corners get short and stretches get almost impossible to conquer. I guess if life was a book, we could read and analyze the pros and cons of the character that life has chosen for us. Since life scribes the words that make the content for books worldwide, you can't help but notice the difference in each and every one of them. If you could go back and change the outcome in a few situations, it would make it better to know when downfalls may come. Since we can't, we cope with the truth that life is true and what is happening is a mere smidget to the truth of which is going on. Only then do we realize we are only in control of our actions and not the intentions of those that live amongst us. We all say, if life was this way, oh, how it would be different. This book is a delightment, a refreshment, when we all wish we could say, if I knew the way, I know this would be my results. True is you are the results, just waiting to produce them. If you could release the message you want to deliver first, where would you be? If you could respond the way you wanted to first, what would have done? And most importantly, what will you do next? Chapter 1. Who do you think you are? Good morning, sunshine. Hope you had the best rest ever, made you breakfast, and no one is going to die today. Time for another great one. Ever since I can remember, even since youth, I've been in detention, on suspension, getting beatings, and told if you don't do this, the worst will happen. Kind of sort of not the cooked breakfast and the promise for peace we all get benched for, wind up in jail, and even sometimes even premature death. The confusion of what everyone thinks is a false pretense in the sense of it's really what you think. Finding a job or learning to do something on a professional will definitely get you green, the gold, and the hose. It's like if you bought this book and it doesn't really have a message. To tell someone something or to influence them in a way that benefit themselves, if what we are getting at here, you are more valuable than other thing, man-made, and anything that someone puts a value to in their own eyes, for the better benefit, only to get what they want. I'm 40 years of age and I have heard it all, but I need to do is discover. You know everything today, you know everything until the present, but the future is a mystery. It seems a perfect society has developed an opinion in the world where you can't be judged. Money has a weird way of causing others to do the strangest when it is just materialistic. The right now consists of right now. It doesn't consist of how you have spent the money you worked so hard for just lavishly without a return. It doesn't consist how many cars you have in your driveway. It doesn't consist on what someone thinks about you. It consists of what you think about yourself. Everyone has great ambitions and goals in life. You should be able to achieve them yourself every time you put your mind to something. I found the problem may lie right there, or maybe over here. Maybe we were looking in the wrong place. Another big thing with who you think you are is that we listen to others who are not themselves. They project their failures in a negative way. They say, who do you think you are, basically, every time something doesn't go their way. It's like who died and made them kings and queens. We often make this mistake seeing ourselves in someone else's eyes or viewpoints. How great this world would be if we equated on our success and values instead of putting them on the next person. You can be anything you want to be, but you have to put mind to it and at least start somewhere. Know who you are, know what you are doing, and know the outcome. That's not considered boring. It is actually one of the best accomplishments you will ever make. When you get some time, make some time. When get something, save something. When you get the chance, we mean the opportunity, you seize it. When you do something great, reward yourself. When see something nice and affordable, buy it. Because believe it or not, that is really who you are. The world, the people in it, and everything that inhabits it is merely waiting on you. We want to really know who you really are and what really matters to, because that's who you really want to be. Ever heard the saying, you are only strong as your weakest link? We all link together to make one chain, one presence, one essence, and it's called life. It's good to practice. We all have to play. We must uplift each other, help each other, stand by each other, because we all have to be ourselves. Next time they ask, who do you think you are? Say that's who we are. And if you really want to get to know me for a certified response, you reply, would like to get to know me? Be proud because they just wanted to know you are anyway. Loyal. Chapter 2, Respect. Now that someone or something has finally put some though into the value of you and your candlelight in the dark, time to crawl. Crawling happens all the time to big and small, tall or thin. The good thing about this is you get back on every time you have fallen. When you fall, certain tendencies send you the false pretense of this is a mistake. True in some aspects, but as long as you don't, you hurt yourself. It's a lesson to be learned, almost as if someone asked you, you'll run on down to the store, get me something from the store. But the thing is, sometimes it's really not all that easy. You run into people you know, you run into people you meet, and definitely the knucklehead that you bump into that disrupts your whole process. Now here may something important. The obstacles you run into mold us into how strong we will be in another challenge, this challenge, and definitely the next challenge. Has anything ever happened to you that say to yourself, this will not ever happen again? Or, I made the wrong turn. Let me turn around before I go too far. Something in us makes this certain adaptation. I won't do this to myself again, or I'll know next time. This is called respect. Everything has it. Respect is when you make mistakes, say, well, at least I tried. I'm going to try it again. In life, as you prosper, life respects you back. It's the most intricate aspect and outweighs mistakes. It outweighs negativity. It outweighs defiance. And most importantly, it outweighs the will in negativity.